Hey, I'm Jusko from ProudMoney.com. Chase out with a new credit card called the Chase Slate Edge Visa. Looks to be for people who are new to credit, or maybe even more so people rebuilding credit, kind of trying to get themselves back up in the big leagues of the credit card world, so to speak, and we're going to take a look at it. But first, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not already, and if you have already, I thank you for doing so. So Chase has in the past had a Slate credit card, and if you remember that card, this is not it. It is a different animal. So they're using the Chase Slate name again, but the Chase Slate Edge Visa may be targeting a little bit of the same market as that prior card, but this is different. It very much is looking like they are trying to target people that are new to credit or perhaps rebuilding credit. If you have a good credit score, or you don't even know what your credit score is, but you know that you normally are going to get approved for other credit cards on the market, well then you're probably not going to be interested in this card. But it could be a decent card, especially for those rebuilders, I think, or if you really want to get your foot in the door with Chase early on and you want to make sure you get approved for something and hopefully you can move your way up to some of their better rewards cards. But definitely a card for new or rebuilding, not for people that have good credit scores. And when we look at the main features, you will see why I say this. This is a no annual fee card with no rewards. So if you have a good credit score, in particular 650 or above, you can probably get your hands on a card that has at least some rewards, and this one does not have them. Now it does have a potential sign-up bonus. You can earn $100 in bonus money if you spend at least $500 with the card in the first 6 months of having it. Again, there's 6 months there for you to spend $500. So for most people, they are going to be able to do this, but this is sort of targeting someone that maybe doesn't have a huge credit line, and maybe it's going to take them multiple months to get up to $500 based on the credit line that they are being given, or someone that doesn't spend a whole lot on their credit card. So there's a little clue there when we look at that bonus that they're not asking for a lot of spend in order for you to get that bonus. And so based on those basics, you can see why I'm saying this is a card targeting either people new to credit, or I really think people that maybe have reestablished credit after some past credit problems and have sort of worked their way back up to be on the edge of, getting in with a major credit card company again. I would sort of equate this card maybe with the Capital One Platinum card, a no-frills card, but a card that many people use as a stepping stone to better things when they use those cards correctly. So the other features that this card has that might be attractive if you are trying to reestablish credit or maybe get credit for the first time, you've got 0% on your purchases for 12 months, so you wouldn't pay any interest on any new purchases you make with the card, even if you carry over a balance from month to month during that first year. Now, you don't necessarily want to do that, but if you have a big purchase to make, well, then this is a way that you could spread out your payments over time and not pay interest on them. But it's not a habit that you want to get into a habit of doing. So only in that first year do you get that 0% interest rate on new purchases. You also get a 0% interest rate on balance transfers for the first 12 months. So you can move a balance from another card onto this card, and for 12 months you wouldn't have to pay interest on that balance. Now you would have to pay an upfront balance transfer fee of 3% if you transfer that balance within the first 60 days of having this Chase Slate Edge card. If you transfer a balance after those first 60 days, they're going to charge you a 5% balance transfer fee, which is pretty high in today's credit card market. So they're sort of giving you a little 2-month window where you could transfer a balance from another card. So if you have a lousy credit card with a very high interest rate, you could put it on this card, and for that first year you wouldn't pay any interest other than having to pay that upfront fee. Now, those 0% interest rate offers are okay, but in truth, when you compare them to other cards on the market, they aren't really super competitive or more competitive than anything else. So if you had good credit, you could find those things elsewhere. If your credit wasn't as good, well, then that might be more attractive to you. And as we look at other features, we'll again see that they are targeting people whose credit is maybe not going to qualify them for better credit cards. And so the first feature I'll talk about there is the fact that if you get this card and you make all your payments on time for 6 months and you spend at least $500 with the card in those 6 months, which is also the requirement for that $100 bonus, well then you would automatically be considered for a credit line increase at the end of those 6 months. Now, they don't say how big of a credit line increase you might get. They only say that they would automatically consider you for one. So again, if you are someone that has better credit, you probably aren't thinking about a credit line increase when you first get a new credit card. But if your credit is maybe not as good and you know you're going to get a smaller credit line to begin with, or maybe if you're new to credit and you can't get a very big credit line, well, then you might be thinking about that credit line increase. And so that would be more desirable to know that they're automatically going to start thinking about giving you a higher credit line 6 months down the road. Now, this card can start with a credit line of as little as $500. So if you're approved, it's possible that your credit line could be only $500. If you get a credit line increase in 6 months, would it be another $500? Possibly, and so you might still only be at $1,000 then. So it's not necessarily something where you're going to see some huge jump in your credit line. They don't make any promises as to what that increase would be, or if you're even going to get that increase. And then the other feature of this card that Chase is sort of touting, which also signals that the target market is going to be either new to credit or people who are sort of building their credit back up, is the fact that they say each year you could potentially get a 2% reduction in your interest rate on this card if you have made your payments on time and if you've spent at least $1,000 with the card over the course of the year. So as someone who is newly approved for the card, you could get approved at a rate as low as 14.99%, or it could be all the way up to 23.74%. My guess is most people are going to be approved at that rate up at that top of that range, 23.74%. So if you made all your payments on time for a year, you spent at least $1,000. Well, if you started at 23.74 after that first year, then you possibly would go down to 21.74 and then 19.74 the year after that, etc., etc. Now, my guess would be that you wouldn't hold this card for all that long before maybe you would start looking for a better card if you managed to go 2 years with making all your payments on time and spending that $1,000. But that is what Chase is sort of using as another incentive for you to get this card if you're someone that is new to credit or rebuilding. So all of this taken together shows me that this is sort of a prove-it card from Chase. Chase normally doesn't approve people for their credit cards unless they see some credit history with other lenders, some good credit history with other lenders, where this card looks like something where they might be approving people that don't have any credit history and maybe approving some people that have rebuilt their credit history but maybe are just a little bit lower on the credit score scale than where Chase would normally go to. And so they want you to prove it a little bit with this card before they're going to give you that credit line increase and before they're going to decrease the interest rate on the card. And then hopefully that is a stepping stone to a better Chase card. And since Chase is a fairly desirable credit card issuer, especially on the rewards front, for many people they would see this as something potentially where they would want to get that relationship going with Chase. And so that's where the attraction might be here. And then to answer two questions that I know people are going to ask in the comments if I don't put it in the video. Number one, yes, this is going to be a hard inquiry on your credit report, or a hard pull when you get a new credit card account. That is how it goes. Number two, is it going to be a new card account within Chase 524? Yes. If you don't know what Chase 524 is, it's basically a rule that says if you've gotten 5 credit cards over the last 2 years, the Chase is not going to approve you for a 6th. And since this is a starter card, or maybe for people rebuilding their credit, you definitely would think this is going to be part of the Chase 524 rule. If you've gotten a whole lot of credit cards in the last 2 years, they're definitely not going to let you have this one. So bottom line here with the Chase Slate Edge, if you have a good credit score, you're not going to be interested in this card. If you are new to credit, maybe you would be interested in this card, especially if you want to get your foot in the door with Chase. I think the sort of target customer, or the people that are going to be most interested in this card, or should be the most interested in this card, are people that are rebuilding their credit and have kind of gotten back up the credit score ladder. Maybe you're above 600 but still under 650. Maybe that is the sort of edge case here for this card. Card's just coming on the market as I make this video though, so it is hard to know for sure. Hopefully Chase will have some sort of pre-approval form on their site at some point so people can start getting an idea if they're going to get approved for this card beforehand, before they go and get that hard inquiry from Chase. Or maybe this is a card that if you are sort of on that edge, you would want to go into a Chase branch if you have one in your area and see if you could get some idea of your chances of approval that way, because Chase really is not going to say, well, here's exactly who we want. They're just going to kind of have that card sitting out there, and we're reading the tea leaves a little bit in terms of who they're probably going to approve for this card. So I'm not big on this card overall, but it is nice to have another card out there for people with some lower credit scores or maybe newer to credit. And of course, Chase is a major card issuer. So again, a foot in the door with Chase also is something that is going to be attractive to some people. Questions, comments, put them in that comment section below. Otherwise, I thank you for watching. And as always, please go to proudmoney.com, where we do credit card reviews and we talk personal finance and we talk deals. and all sorts of other fun stuff too. Thank you for watching. Bye.